Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone watching and listening from various parts of the world, from Abuja, Nigeria, West Africa, Africa, and various continents. You are welcome to the Integrated Institute of Operational Management, IIPM International. You are welcome to our YouTube channel, where we've been having a series of lectures. Today, specifically, we'll be looking at corporate image and corporate productivity. This is a certification course, and at the end of the certificate course, at the end of the course, you're going to have a professional certificate attached to this for all those who have participated for today and tomorrow. So for those joining us for today and tomorrow, do well to mark your attendance. Part of the way is I want you to do now is to put in the location, your location at the comment button at the comment section of our YouTube channel. So you can just put, let's say, Abuja, Nigeria, Manitoba, Canada, New York City, USA, Accra, Ghana, and so many other places that you might be. So we want to see that in the comment section today, and also want to repeat them tomorrow. That will tell us that you participated in the class, and that will now make you entitled to getting the certificate after the class. Meanwhile, as we are about to start the class, I would love to have your expectations of this class. The class is Corporate Image and Corporate Productivity. Corporate Image and Corporate Productivity. What is your expectation of this class? What do you expect to know? What do you expect to see? What do you expect to hear from the facilitator? And what do you expect to hear from us? If you also want to ask any question concerning the Institute, please feel free to drop the question also on the comment section, all right? Feel free to drop it on the comment section. However, to always have notification on such lecture, you can click on the subscribe button of our YouTube channel. Clicking the subscribe button is free of charge, just the way this lecture is free of charge. To get this lecture often or similar lectures often for free, you need to subscribe for free with the subscribe button that is looking at you on our YouTube channel. So we have Badagry, Lagos, we have Abuja, Nigeria, we have Abuja, Nigeria from Rufus, Ojule, and Daniel. So you are all welcome. You are all welcome. So I still want to see your expectation. What do you expect from this class? Corporate image and corporate productivity. What do you expect to learn from this? What's your expectation from us? All right. Thank you. So we shall just run some few announcements before we'll go into the main class after we get the over the models and what we will be talking about. So model 1, we're looking at the overview of corporate image and productivity. Model 2, building a positive corporate image. Model 3, effective communication and effective communication strategies. Model 4, monitoring and adjusting. Model 5, corporate image and productivity. And model 6, of course, is our summary. So let me just take this quote before we start. And it says, when you are not intentional to set the right direction of your corporate image, the sum of your employees' behavior becomes your corporate image. This implies that if you don't take time to build your corporate image, the total behavior of your employee will depict your corporate image. Might tell you a popular saying by one of my mentors who always say, who is a mentor of my mentor? So he's my grand mentor, like my mentor always say. He says that the perception of people about you is as important as who you are. So corporate image is very important. What people think about the image of your organization is as important as your organization. All right. So corporate image has to do with perception. Image itself has to do with perception, thoughts, right? So corporate image, this concept has to do with perception of what you think about an organization, what you think about a brand. And this has to do with their values, actions, and inactions. So we all know that corporate image influences our thoughts towards a particular organization. So it has to do with your trust, it has to do with your loyalty, it has to do with how work is being delivered. So corporate image has to do with both internal and external clients, how internal and external clients behave has a lot to do with corporate image. All right. So a positive corporate image fosters credibility, attract talent, and build lasting relationship. Myself, who is majoring in the HR, can tell you this for free. When I am trying to attract people to my organization, I make sure that I paint my organization in a manner that will make you hungry to come and work with my organization, right? I'll tell you that, oh, there's somebody here that stayed here for 15 years. There is somebody here that even stayed here and bought 5 cars. You can work from home. You can do this, you can do that. So corporate image, like I said, has to do with even your internal and external talent, how you attract the talent, how you retain them, how those talents delivers their internal operations to attract revenue for you. It has to do with a build last relationship, which has to do with also goodwill. So these are some of the things we're looking at as well. Corporate image, when you build corporate image around the organization, is an asset that can be taken away. There are some brands today that in reality, they may not be what they used to be. But because of the image that they've built in the past, is still what is working for them today and may continue to work with them tomorrow. Okay, so let's just reinforce the information I've said before, that this is a professional certificate course which the attendance is for free. Certificate is available on request. However, you must attend the class to be able to qualify to get certification. Certificate of Mastery in Strategic Excellence and Corporate Productivity will be issued. So with this certificate, you can send it to your HR department, your organization, or to your admin department as what applies to your organization to put in your file. And who can say this is a new year, maybe people are starting promotion review this year, and you may begin to look at, you might begin to be promoted on that, or giving you responsibility, or giving additional responsibility. Like I remember the organization that I joined, I joined as a HR and added corporate communications to my designation because of what they saw in my certificate, in my CV of having similar course like this. So
he needs to deliver his section. Okay, so if you have any question, please feel free to drop that in the chat room. Maybe once in a while we may have some technical glitches, but we encourage you to stay put on the program and make sure that you have the best of time, right? Thank you so much. And one more time, if you've not subscribed to the channel, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and share this link so that your friends, your colleagues. This is a course of 250,000, but we're giving it out for free to anyone who wishes to be part of it. And then certificate is available upon request. So to save your company cost and to save yourself cost, our encouragement is that you should be part of this program, right? Thank you so much, and enjoy the best of time. Thank you. So please, Dr. Mike, over to you. Kindly unmute and go ahead.
So corporate image has to do with impression and perception. It has to do with what? Impression and perception. Impression has to do with what you do, what you do not do, what you do, how you do, what you say and what you do not say about the organization, how you conduct yourselves, how the organization carries itself, how the organization responds to the environment. All those are impressions that the organization, puts in the atmosphere to get perception around the minds of people, perhaps the competitors, perhaps final users, perhaps even the employees. So it leaves that in the public. Some of us now, when we hear that want to work with certain, when you hear the name of certain organization, for some of us, when we hear certain organization, we want to work with them. Why? Because of the image that organization has built over time. So we want to work with that organization. Why? Because of the image that organization has built over time, right? So, like I said, one of our mentors always say, it's not just about leaving an impression, but what is the perception you get back? Therefore, we can say that the perception of people, the perception of the public is as important as the impression you try to create. So corporate image has to do with generality of things and about organization. There are certain things that when you see, you can, oh, this belongs to so bank. This belongs to, when you say the grand data of network, for instance, the grand master of network or something like that, or when you say everywhere you go, or when you say my bank and I, or you and your bank, something like that, you can easily, oh, this is also bank, this is also network, right? So that is corporate image. That is corporate image. It also has to do with corporate communication, how you communicate, your style of communication. There are certain languages that when you hear, you can tell that, okay, this is somebody from a private sector talking about a particular organization in the private sector. And there's certain communication that when you hear, you can say, okay, this is somebody from the government sector. In fact, this is not just a civil servant, this may be a politician. So corporate image matters a lot. Why is it important? Why? I would love to have that feedback on the chat room. Why do you think it's important? Why should we have corporate image? Why should organizations bother so much about their corporate image? What's so special about corporate image? I will tell you. Number one, it shapes customer perception. Why do big brands still advertise today? Why? when I was in the hospitality sector, when our hotel go for market, it will be like, so hotel have come here, so hotel have come here. So they just left, their marketers just left here now. Why do people like Coca-Cola still advertise they spend heavily on adverts? Why? Do you think if they don't spend, you are going to stay by Coca-Cola or not? Do you think the level of profit they are making, they will still make that magnitude of profit if they are not advertising? That is something, maybe something for you to ponder. Corporate image boosts employee morale. There is I went on a particular site, and where it popped out that they said that they saw that I worked in so company before. I should feel something about them, that every information will be confidential. So I feel as basically, and I asked, will I recommend this company to somebody else? I said, oh yes. In fact, I would even love to work there again if opportunity comes. So the working there boosts my morale was very high working in such organization. I felt secured. I didn't feel threatened, right? So what does that tell you? It tells you that the importance of corporate image has also internal dynamics. It has what? Internal dynamics to play. You can't just rely solely on saying that, okay, corporate image is just for your buyers. No, it goes beyond that. Those people who we attract the buyers for you also have to have that experience, also have to experience what your corporate image is like. The third is that it contributes to the overall success of your organization. It contributes to the overall success of your organization. Now, take a look at the organization you can see here on the screen. You can see Apple, you can see Google, right? When people buy Apple, there's this, sorry, maybe I should use this arrogance attached to the customers that uses Apple. Like, well, you got an Android phone. Why not Apple? Why would you spend 500,000 to get an Android when you can get an Apple? Isn't it? Why is this so? Because Apple sells feelings. They sell feeling to people. And of course, you can just see with the logo, you can you can tell that, oh, this is Apple. Look at Google as well. Very simple logo. But anywhere you see Google, you can always recognize that this is Google. A very wonderful place to work. So some of us don't want to do our company logo. We'll go and do one kind of logo, do a kind of logo that it will be so difficult to decode what is there. It's so even difficult to identify you. Look at the logo of Zenith Bank. Look at Access Banks. Look at the banking sector in general, in fact. Look at MTN, the telecommunication logos. Glo, Airtel, Nine Mobile, and many of them. Their logo, you can easily decode their logo. You can easily understand. So Daniel said, it boosts company's image to the customers. Thank you. It's important. Sunday said it's important because it sets the brand apart from others. You can easily identify for brand identification, right? So can we also look at examples, more examples? We have Coca-Cola. Anywhere you see Coca-Cola, of course, you can easily identify it. Look at the Dangote logo, Dangote Group. It has created a market lead that, a lot of people are now even trying to catch up with. So let's proceed. Brand versus corporate image. Brand versus corporate image. You know, when we talk about brand is simply it's just a fraction. When you talk about corporate branding or personal branding, it's just a fraction of corporate image. Because corporate image has to do with the totality. It has to do with what? The totality of the identity of your company. The totality of the identity, the overall perception and impression of your company. But brand could just be a particular service of yours. It could just be a particular product of yours. Okay? And that distinction is on focus. Brand focuses more on perception. But corporate image has to do with identity, who we are, and who we think we are, or who people think we are. So who people think you are is important, yes, but who you are is more important, because you can see some companies very small, but they're making profit. They are very rich organizations, but people might see them that they aren't rich, right? But they are cashing out. Okay. Then brand, you can see Nike's swoosh logo. Why, when you compare the other way around, look at Apple being associated with a feeling, like I said initially, has to do with a feeling. So that feeling comes with how the product looks like, how you feel using that product, what you think about the company, and so many others. Many of us want to associate ourselves with products like Benz, rather than maybe any other vehicle, a BMW rather than any other vehicle, an Apple rather than any other phone, and so on and so forth. However, is there a nexus? Is there a way that these two work together? Yes, of course, there is a way. So the brand elements contribute to the overall corporate image. It's, like I said, it's a fraction to the overall corporate image. A strong corporate image enhances brand's credibility. So it can't work in isolation. You can't be doing branding without corporate image. I can't be saying you have a corporate image without trying to also push various kind of brands. Of course, example is Coca-Cola. Example is when you come to, let's say, consumer, we can talk of Coca-Cola. When you talk of network, you talk of people like MTN, we talk of banks. Look at what GT is doing recently and so many other banks. Then look at the alignment. A cohesive brand and corporate image build trust and what? Recognition. Once there's this thing that we do, that when someone asks a question in maybe a WhatsApp group and be like, ask Google. Why? Because the corporate image of Google is that it has the problem to all your solutions. It has the solutions to all your problems. Sorry, it has the solutions to all. It has the solutions to all your problems, and that also represents in the work style. I took time to study how all these big brands, how the employees are faring, up from Apple to Google to Amazon and so on and so forth. And that's why when you hear people saying they're leaving Amazon to a particular organization, you'll be like, what is really that organization offering that Amazon is not offering, right? But however, corporate image and brand have a very strong synergy. Component of corporate image. Component. I've said this in the past. Okay, so with that, can you drop for me with what I've said now? What are the components? What are the things that make up corporate image, right? I want to see that. What are the things that make up corporate image. I've mentioned a lot. But so let's go. The first one on our screen is logo. Logo. If you take let's say MTN logo, for instance, the M and the N are always in yellow and the T is in blue, and it has a sharp edge. So if you write MTN or just even M or the T in small letter, you are no longer talking about MTN. You're talking about something else. You're talking about another organization entirely. Though the issue of whether MTN will sue is a different thing entirely if they are being imitated. But what we're trying to say is that with logo, you can easily tell. You can even tell if I someone write MTMM or MTM, that is M for mango, MTM, with the same pattern of logo of MTN, I know you will identify that, oh, this is MTN logo is trying to imitate, right? Exactly. So logo are components, very strong components of corporate image. What else? Company culture and value. You see where they put core values. Core values. How many of us even know the core value of our organization? So it starts from there. You have to know the core value of your organization. You have to know the core value of your department, of your division. That will help you to understand how you can contribute to the corporate image of the organization. Corporate culture. I'll give you one in the military. The Nigerian military, for instance, is an unwritten culture that you can't see an army officer on the way trying to enter a public vehicle. You can't see. Very difficult. Why? Because they've created that perception. They've created that unwritten culture somewhere of that. So what they do, by the time you are leaving NDA or your 6 month course, they're giving you a lump sum of money and building that into your psyche that you have to get a car. So it becomes a culture that they all keep. It becomes a culture. It becomes a culture. Some banks also do that. The moment you are employed, you get to a particular level, you must have a car. The bank buys a car for you and that you will be using. Communication style. Communication style. What you say, how you say, where you say, what you say. There are organizations that their communication style is only done using maybe 2 social media. Maybe they're all just on Facebook and LinkedIn, or they're only on X and Instagram, or they're only on this and that, right? It's communication style. And even the choices of words tells you the image. An example, when you're talking about, if you're looking at government as a corporate image of government, the corporate image of a military government is different from the corporate image of a democratic or civilian government, for instance. So the communication style will definitely differ. The tone of the message, the channel will be different, right? So the next, we'll talk about customer service. Customer service shapes corporate image, build relationship, and resolve issues positively. What are we saying here? That there are certain corporate image that is customer-centric. They are what? Customer-centric. The organization. How and what you think about the organization. Having said that, we have corporate image has to do with an organization's vision, mission, statement, corporate. So thank you, Sunday, Oxford. Thank you, Daniel Emeka. The right attitude, customer satisfaction, proper description. And so corporate image has to do with what is said and what is unsaid, right? What is done, how you do what you do. All these are what shapes your corporate image. All these are what corporate image. Okay, so we are now at module 2. We are now at module 2. Let us talk about building a positive corporate image. Building a positive corporate image. You see, if you had spoken about work from home or work from home specifically, or even e-learning, like someone was telling me just yesterday, have stoned you. Even our lecturers in the school never believed it was effective. But today, because of the disruption that happened, in the world entirely, people are now beginning to shape the organization to build positive work environment, to build employee experience, to build good customer and client experience with your organization. So people are deliberately building their corporate image because of the recent disruption. So you must be deliberate about building your corporate image. You must be deliberate about building your corporate identity. You must be deliberate about it. So let's talk about defining your brand identity. Crafting a compelling mission statement is one of the ways of your brand identity. Crafting a compelling vision and mission statement is one of the ways of what defining your brand identity. From the vision statement and mission statement, you can tell the thought. You can tell what an organization stands for. You can tell what an organization believes in. You can tell the value an organization is selling, right? You can tell all that from what? The mission and the vision statement. The next is identifying core values. Identifying core values. Have core values for your organization. And I always advise, let the core value be something that can easily be pronounced. You can pick the first letters so that you're going to form a word that people can always remember. Like some organizations I did consulting for, I gave when we discussed to have our core, we have something like Disco, Picassint, Word, Upside. Those are core values that we developed, right? So create a unique selling composition. Create a unique, what you may call something very unique about your organization that will be associated with your identity. All right, something very unique. It might be how you deliver your service. It might be how you communicate. It might be how you respond to customers' queries, and so on and so forth. The next is consistent visual branding. You have to be consistent. How you write, like my letterhead now, Dr. Ikenna I Okafor. Do I have is today Dr. Ikenna and tomorrow is Dr. Okafor? So that consistency needs to be there. Even in my logo. So if I have a logo, my logo has to be consistent. The colors needs to be consistent. The font style and size needs to be consistent. Today you're writing the logo in blue using Tahoma, next to me writing it in pink using area black. No, it's not acceptable. For your brand identity to be respected, to be known, you have to maintain consistency, ensuring consistency across all platforms. There are some people I respect so much that I look out for their posts every day. They put that every Monday, that's the day they bring out their posts. Some people every Tuesday, they are up on video. Every Wednesday, they are this on that. Some companies are like that. Like I know some banks, I think every Friday, the particular bank, we usually have talks on SMEs. So that is a way of what? Building their what? Corporate image. That is the way of identifying their what? Their brands. That's the way of registering their brands, creating a perception about themselves in your mind. So these are ways we can use to build corporate image. So internally, what are other things that we should also do? Employee engagement and culture. Employee engagement and culture. You know, when I enter here, employee engagement, I have this strong bias because I have a very strong HR background. So being a HR manager for some years, and I can tell you that employee engagement is very important, though underrated, but very important, and a very strong culture, very strong, positive work culture. Some places are very terrible to work, that they are very toxic, very bad to work, that even when you finish working there, so when you remember that place you worked for 3 years, you'll be like, whoa, thank God I left there. Thank God I really left there. Thank God I really left there. Why? Because the culture does not foster growth, does not foster learning, does not foster healthy living, does not foster well-being. Okay, so as a manager, as a business owner, as a supervisor, it is your duty to create positive work environment for those who are already working and those who even come to work. Yes, I remember a particular interview when I saw the kind of culture. That was about 5-6 years. When I saw the kind of culture that these people were to sell, I told them, please, I'm withdrawing my application to work in their organization, that I'm not interested in working in their organization, right? I had to withdraw my application. So you have to create a culture of trying to make people come in to work in your organization. Align employees with companies' missions and values. This is done by constant engagement. All right? The role of employee satisfaction in building corporate image. Let them see that they have a role to play. Let them see that they have something to do. This is by having constant engagement with your employees. Let them understand that they have serious role to play in by how they think, how they dress, how they behave, even off work. Even off work. There's certain things I can't afford to do because of the kind of organization I represent. There's certain things I can't post on my social media handle because of the kind of organizations I represent. Because I represent IIPM, I can't behave a certain way. Because I represent AIG, I can't behave a certain way. Because I represent maybe Zenith Bank, I can't, because I represent this, I represent that. There are certain ways you can't behave, you know, because that also may have a role to play in your job. If you're an alcoholic now and a drunk, it will definitely reflect in your job, and it will affect the corporate image of the organization that you work for. So define your mission, brand activity, which is a continuation. What's that? You what? Definition, have a clear definition and a purpose of what you want to achieve. So at a glance, some of us just have, some organizations just have, we just have missions without having what the mission wants to achieve, right? Then your mission should reflect the value. Your mission should represent the value you want to sell, right? Identify key principles, align value with the company's mission, all right? Then what is your unique selling point? What is your unique selling point? What is your unique selling point? You need to identify that. Why do people patronize you? What is that thing you have strong capacity over other organizations? What is that thing you have strong capacity over other organizations? Is something you need to identify as an organization and capitalize on it. You can't be everything to every customer. No, you can't. You must choose a particular thing you are to your customers. You must choose a particular niche you are to your customers, right? Unique selling points. Let's, for example, look at UPS. You're looking at being fast in delivery. I am sorry, Amazon's selling point is what? Being fast in delivery. And being that their customer search, I think a friend of mine was telling me how he got something from Amazon, a book or something, and it wasn't comfortable. Within how many days, they asked him to return it, and they were asking if they should refund back his money. And he said, no, they should just use to get another book, so book. And before he could say Jack Robinson, he was in that country. Before he could get to his house in Nigeria, they've delivered the book for him. So you can see that that is the image. Once you think about that, once you just think about that company, that comes to your mind. What is when you call logistics in Nigeria, what company comes to your mind? When you talk about telecommunication, what comes to your mind exactly? When it comes to transport company, what comes to your mind? When it comes to oil and gas, what company comes to your mind? When you talk about mining, what company comes to your mind? Okay. Your logo, of course, we say should be consistent, easy to understand, consistent colors, and so on and so forth. Have employee engagement. This has been explained. So we're in model 3, which has to do with effective communication. Effective communication strategies. Effective communication strategy. First, to achieve this, you have to understand the people you are serving, your market segmentation. Who are those that are particular about your organization? Let's take even our personal branding. For those of you on LinkedIn, sometimes what I do is I go on my LinkedIn and look at those who have looked at my wall for the past 5 days. It tells me, okay, what image have I been building within the last 5 days? What's based on maybe the posts I'm making or the videos I've been posting, right? So how do you communicate what you communicate? And how do you ensure that your communication strategies are effective? Let's look at external communication. Number 1 is crafting a consistent message across marketing channels. Your messages have to be the same. Your message has to be consistent. Your messages have to be the same. Please don't have that perception that when we talk about external communication, your mind is just going to the company you are working for, pushing. It has to do with only the marketing department. No, it has to do with you. Even you in the accounts department, your general customers, or in the HR department, your general customers are the employees. So what is the employee's perception about your department? You in the security department, what's the employee's perception? So when you're passing message, the CSO cannot pass a message. The ACSO will pass a different message. The SO, the security officer, will pass a different message, and the guard will pass a different message. No. So the message has to be consistent. And the frequency also needs to be consistent. So your communication needs to be consistent. That also applies to external. When you're going external, the frequency has to be consistent within your immediate community, your immediate society, your immediate cities. Whether far and near, have to know that your messages are consistent. For instance, at IIP, one of the things that we've done is having consistent communication. Consistent communication. And that's why if you go to your mail, you're seeing us there. You go to your YouTube, you're seeing us there. You go to your Facebook, you're seeing us there. Everywhere you go, we are there. Utilize social media. We are doing it as well. Utilize the social media as a corporate organization. Use it to build your corporate identity. I was looking at some organizations recently. The Dangote, for instance, we spoke about. You're on Facebook, they make posts all the time. Eternal oil. These are some of the rain oil. They make constant posts on LinkedIn, on Facebook. Why? They're trying to build an impression to the public through this, because they know that if you got social media, people say that in LinkedIn and Twitter, which is X, you have so much serious people there. So for the serious people, they are discussing with them. For those that are playing a lot like us, we're on Facebook too. They reach out to us through that medium, right? So the next is handling public relations and crisis communication. I can remember a particular bank 2 years ago or so. I would love someone to type that in the chat room, in the in the comment section, of a bank that one particular year they said, just like Agege bread, Christ rose or something like that. I can't remember. There was a public outcry that, oh, are you now equating Jesus Christ to bread? And they had to take that post down and send another message. I think they even sent that to all their customers. I can't remember exactly again. I don't use that bank, so I can't just remember the bank. But they were able to manage that crisis. There was another bank again. I don't know why I'm using banks. I'm just, maybe because I do a lot of work for them. There's another bank again that an email was sent out about those who goes to pray, or pray, they are using work time for prayer time or something like that, the bank will no longer entertain it. And somebody leaked that memo out on social media. And of course, you can remember, a lot of people from that religion was now threatening that they're going to pull their money out of that bank. The bank was able to say, oh, no, this is not what I meant. This is what we meant. This is not what we meant. This, okay. So, external communication, you have to use it to manage various kind of crises that may arise. All right? That's why I see some organizations does press conference and communicate, write in newspaper, put disclaimer in this. I can remember Seplant. Seplant is one of the companies well known in the oil and gas in the upstream sector. Seplant, there was a time that there was a court case on Seplant that their CEO was a racist, used a racist word, and they were in the high court, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Seplant was back to back bringing out disclaimer, bringing out memos to create an impression, communicating to the people, appealing to the mind of the people in various ways. So strong communication builds impression. Internal communication, the importance of transparent and effective internal communication is also important. When you build internal communication that is transparent, and it brings trust to the system. The people who trust the management. There's some organizations that don't trust their management, but the management is there is A, management is saying A and doing B, or is doing B and not communicating effectively. So people begin to think, people begin to perceive, people begin to get scared. So keep employee informed and engaged. Keep employees informed and engaged. In my organization, we have various, we call them plants. Various plants. Under the plants, you have up to 300 employees. Then a particular HR is handling that. Under the plant, you now have departments. In some places, you may call the plant division. But then what we do is that we ensure that every week, a particular plant HR have to engage with the employees, tell them what is management position on certain things, what's management expectation, and want to also know what is their own expectation from the management. That will help us to plan better. So aligning internal and external communication is also an important factor. Okay. Aligning internal and external communication is also an internal factor. What does that mean? We have to ensure consistency between internal and external communication at all time. This impacts on your brand identity and integrity. this impacts on your brand identity and integrity. Okay, so let's move on to module 4. So we've come halfway of the lecture. If you are still with us, congratulations, you've come halfway of the lectures. We are going into module 4. We have module 5, and of course, the last module, module 6. So in the next few minutes, we'll be rounding up. Please, at this point, I want to see your questions in the comment section of our YouTube, okay? Drop your questions now at the comment section of our YouTube page, where I believe you are watching from. Yeah. Strong communication builds impression. Yes, thank you, Sarah Daniel. Thank you, Daniel Emeka. Some schools have strong communication skill, both internal and external. Yes. Evaluate what makes your brand unique. Yes, of course. Yes. Thank you. So I want to see your questions now. I want to start seeing your questions should start rolling in, so that after this, I will begin to take your questions. So far, so good. We've made progress. Don't forget, this is a certification course that costs from 35,000 and above. This course, if you check it out on some other organizations, you see that it's what, about equivalent to Nigerian Naira. It's equivalent to about 250, 60,000 when you convert it to Naira. Of course, you know what dollar is. You know what dollar is today. So, but this course has been discounted thanks to some sponsors, thanks to some organizations who are also interested in building their corporate image through our organization. So this course has been discounted, but the attendance is compulsory. And like I said, to show that you've attended, for those that haven't done that, that have not registered the attendance, do well to type your location where you are listening from. For instance, you can say Paris, France, Accra, Ghana, Abuja, Nigeria, Lome, Togo, Delhi, India, Cuba, and so many other countries, of course. Right? So anywhere you are watching from, anywhere you are listening from, let us see that you are there. Drop your questions. Of course, we'll also drop the attendance list, attendance form, as the class is about coming to an end. Maybe in the next 20 to 30 minutes, we'll drop the that is what will qualify you to get certificates. All right. Module 4 has to do with monitoring and adjustments. Monitoring and adjustment. Any process you are handling, any process you're having, you should have a way of monitoring it to see the success, and you adjust accordingly. You now make your recommendations. You adjust accordingly and make your recommendations. Monitoring tools. Utilizing analytics and feedback mechanisms. There are so many data analytics tools out there that can be utilized. There is a generic one that has to do maybe sectors. There is some you can personalize that has to do with specifically your organization or your industry. Excuse me. So you have to use this to get feedback. You have to use this to analyze what you've been doing. You have to use this to evaluate if you are going in the right path. Next is listening to customer feedback. There is something that we do in the particular I worked. What we do is we put questionnaires for customers to fill. And we did it two ways. First of all, the hard copies, in case maybe the sales reps are not giving it to them. And also we send to their phones directly. How do we do that? Once you come for our services, and when we've given you the service, of course, you drop your number, and it will be there that, okay, I'm going to use number to communicate to you. So when we do that, we send you, so we can get a direct feedback from you. Then tracking social media mentions. Anywhere you are mentioned, you go and look at what is being mentioned for. If you go on Facebook or YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn or some others, and ask, okay, who, I need a good architect. You see people start, mentioning some organizations. Oh, they are very good. I need organization that can clear grass for 45 kilometers. You see some organization going to be mentioned. Go back and look at that. There are some, and some of us, when they mention some organization in all these places, we'll be like, no, 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 no. It's not, it's a terrible place to be. It's a terrible place to work. It's a terrible place. They don't deliver. Like I remember somebody was talking about an organization, a recruitment organization. I was like, no, 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 no. This organization is a good one. They are good at keeping somebody hanging. They fix interview without even telling their client that they fix interview, and just go there and be roaming around. It happened to me twice with this particular organization. I mentioned it in the group there. So you can see that how what you do should be monitored to see if there's actually success. So when you've monitored, you need to look at what improvement. You don't stop. Don't stop. You begin to learn. Excuse me. You need to learn from either the successes or failures, and you have to make adjustments to align to the changing dynamics. Most organizations that have refused to go this path have sank. How many of us still talk about, in fact, how many of us on this discussion is using a Nokia Android phone? Very rare. But I'm very sure that if we're going to check those using iPhone, we can see those using an Apple product here. We can see those using Infinix, we can see those using Techno, we can see those using Oppo, Hawaii, Redmi, and so many other phones, right? So as an organization, to build a corporate image, you have to check to see that what you are doing, if you are in line, and see if you are what the trend is, and you have to join the trend at the time. Today you can have we don't have this before you must always go to a class, to a location, you sit down and that's why I laugh when people say, I need to do a course on marketing, but I need a physical class. I find it difficult to learn physically. You'll not even be people going to school any longer. You'll not be going to school any longer. You just stay in your house and do your school. After 6 years or 3 years, you get your first schooling certificate. After 2 years, you get your WAEC and all that. So we have to be moving with time. Then the role of feedback. The roles of feedback loops in maintaining a positive corporate image. All right. Okay, so let's continue. So like what we've been saying, implement analytics tools to measure the performance indicator. So there should be key performance indicators that you've developed to measure the level of success that you've achieved. There should be key performance indicators or key performance area that you've identified. Because if you don't have this, you might just be running in circles. Collect and analyze customer feedback is very important. It's very important. There are various ways to go about that, various tools to be used, thanks to AI now that is making things very easy. All right. The next is listening to customers' feedback. It's very important, like I've said before, to have a channel of getting across to your customers, either through email or through WhatsApp or through text message. You can just be simply reply yes or no or this or that, but make it very easy because people might not even be willing to comply. Incorporate customer insight into your decision making. I remember in a company where I work that has a laundry session, a customer came and I was like, why not move this here, move that here, move that here? And we saw that was a very good design suggestion by the customer. So we did that. The next time the customer came, we rearranged the office and he was so pleased. And till I left that company, the customer is one of the most loyal customers we could think about. Then we talk about tracking social media. It's not enough just to be responding, but also be posting things on social media. Keep your people engaged. Reply to comments. There are some organizations that once they also post, they go and sleep. They don't respond to comments. There's some organizations that even in Nigeria, the Nigerian police now post make humorous posts. Not that they don't just post about they caught 20 thief or they caught somebody on homicide or they don't post. They hardly go to their website, Nigerian police force. They hardly post those things again. There's something humorous. The other day I saw the PRO just posted his well-polished shoe, and it was driving attention. I was like, wow, this is quite it. And imagine also 2 or 3 weeks ago, they were posting about telling us have a great week ahead. I was like, yeah, Nigerian police, that's interesting. So what I was saying is that let your audience have something to look out for. Let your audience have something to look out for. Now, when we've gotten this feedback, what do? You're going to look at how you can improve. Learn from what? Successes and failures. When you've done that, make adjustments for the changing market dynamics, what we call contingency plan. Contingency plan. Times are changing. Look at Netflix have moved away DVD. How many of us have DVD in our houses? Very few. Though I still have my own, but I can't remember last time I played it. Rather, what do I do? I even copy the film on my. In fact, the closest DVD I can do is copy film on my hard disk and plug it in my TV, and I watch it. Movies, except I want to go and even news. For those that have smart TV, I can just watch the news on real time, right? So establish continuous feedback loops for improvement. Integrate adjustment based on ongoing feedback so that people will know what you are doing. All right. Having said that, you can see on my screen, okay, the actual fee for this course is about 100,000 for IIPM. In some organization, you see it's about 250 to 60,000. I won't mention their names, so I don't give them free adverts. I send some organization where they're doing for about 250,000 naira. But for our own members, when we say members, those who have been inducted, that you take a training class with IPM 1-2 training does not make you a member. So try to have yourself inducted into IIPM. We have 4 inductions this year, 1 in Abuja, 1 in Lagos, 1 in Port Harcourt, and I think 1 in Owerri. I think 2 in Abuja, 1 in Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Owerri, right? So try to get yourself inducted and be a professional member. You can be an associate, full member, fellow, right? Associate, full member, fellow. We also have the student member category. We have student member and the those who are core members. Either of them you are a member, you get this discounted rate. So if you're a core member, you're a fellow, you are this or that, or a full member or associate, you'll be paying just 35,000 naira. Or if you wish to pay in dollar, we also accept in dollar. For non-members, it's going to be 45,000 naira. Send your payments to the Integrated Institute of Operational Management UBA account that you can see displayed on the screen, or you pay online. You pay online at https://iipm.org/pay. Right? You take it to the direct link. There's never a time IIPM requests you to send any code from your phone to access our class or to access any link or to, we don't ask for any code. So anybody who's asking for any code sent to your phone, please report the number to WhatsApp or any of the authorities. Then you send your proof of payment to finance@iipm.com so that your certificate can be processed and sent to you. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more engaging content like these. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more engaging content like this. I will still read all your questions in the chat room. I'm seeing questions already coming in. So we are going to take all the questions, none will be left undone. So more questions should come in, because when we take all those questions, we'll be rounding up. So when we are in the 5th module, corporate image and productivity. Corporate image and productivity. While talking about corporate image and productivity, may I also tell you that the voice you've been hearing is the voice of Dr. Ikenna Michael Okafor. I am a human resource professional and a management consultant, popularly known as Oga HR. That's part of my own corporate branding, right? Corporate image. So you can go on any social media and type on Google and type hashtag Oga HR, OGA and HR. The H and the R should be in capital H and capital R. So it will take you straight to all my articles on all my page. Do well to follow me. I want to see you on LinkedIn. Boost me up on LinkedIn and say that, okay, tag me based on this class. Tag me on Facebook based on this class. All right. Thank you. So we will proceed to corporate image and productivity. I hope you're having a nice time in the class. I hope you're having a nice time in the class. Impact of corporate image on productivity. When you talk about productivity, we have personal productivity and corporate productivity. But then we'll take both for the purpose of this conversation together so that we can, have a wider understanding about it. First, we want to talk about corporate productivity. We talk about the overall contribution of a team to the result of the overall contribution. You talk about overall contribution of a team to what? To an organization or to a task. So all of us being here, we are contributing to the overall contribution, being together, overall growth of our various organizations by coming here to get this knowledge. All right. So I hope that we'll subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let me just take 20 seconds out to allow us to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's go. Boniva, let's go. Like, subscribe, and share the link with your friends and colleagues, because we also have this class by 4. We have another class by 4. We have another one tomorrow as well. And that will now qualify you to get this certificate. All right. If you're also finding it difficult to comment on the YouTube, it's probably because you are yet to subscribe or like our YouTube channel. Kindly do that now. It is actually for free. Share with your friends on various platforms. Even share with me too. I would love you to share it with me. Share it on LinkedIn and tag me, Dr. Ikenna Okafor. Just press the @ button, and I'm sure, and type Dr. Ikenna and I will come out, or HR. It should definitely bring you to my page. So share it with your company members, with your friends and colleagues to partake in this class. All right. Remember, it only costs 40,000 for those who are not members of this, which of course would have cost more if it were in other organization, which of course saves money for you, save money for your organization, save money for your friends and colleagues. Even as an organization, you can, subscribe for this as an organization in group, and you're still going to enjoy discounts. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, and thank you. Yes, for those asking me about the certificates, yes, all our certificates are, it's a professional certificate, not just certificate of attendance. Of course, the certificate shows that you've attended the class, but you're also getting a professional certificate, and is internationally recognized. It has a barcode security that anywhere you are, it can be scanned and it will be verified back to our website. We are in partnership with CIMC, Chartered Institute of Management Consultants, and Society for Human Resource Management. Those are the two international Professional Educational Certification Board Canada as well. Those are the three organizations that we are in partner with, that also anywhere you are in the world, you can present your certificate and it will be recognized. Even in your organization, like I said at the beginning of the class, that you can present your certificate to your organization and, of course, see how you may likely be slotted in for promotion on the grounds that you are adding to knowledge, you're improving yourself and building yourself. So let's proceed. Thank you. Impact of corporate image on productivity. Employee morale and engagement is increased. You see, positive image, it creates a positive image so that a company with a positive corporate image is likely to have high employee morale and engagement. When employees have the feeling, that this is our own, it is based on the way you've created a corporate image, and this automatically affects their productivity individually and as a team. So it engages and motivates the employee to be more productive. I once worked in an organization that I'm also going to work Monday to Friday. That was when I was in Kano. And this organization, because of the kind of image that they created, I saw myself going to work on Saturday because I just felt like, all I'm doing at home, let me just go home. Let me just go to work. So when employees feel comfortable, when your image is not an image that creates fear, your employees, not just people, employees will definitely begin to be more productive. Also important to note is that positive image, what it does is that it brings about employee retention. It reduces attrition. First, it brings about attraction. When you mention companies like KPMG, PwC, people want to work in those kind of companies, Shell, Chevron, and so many companies like that. People want to work in those companies. Promisidor, Coca-Cola, you want to work there, Deloitte. As I say, when people start working there, they'll go and put on their resume, I am happy to have started work in so place, right? That is because of the perception. That's because of the perception that have been built by the company to attract talent. That have been built by the company to what? To attract talent. Now, when that talent is attracted, the next phase is to keep the talent. The talent has to be kept to ensure what? That they meet up to the expectation on productivity. The resource-based view theory says that an organization is as strong as the workforce that it has. It's as strong as the workforce present. So if you have good manpower, if you have manpower who understands, that are first of all knowledgeable and credible and intelligent and are loyal, definitely it will boost your corporate image. Customer trust and loyalty. Trustworthy and reputable companies build a positive corporate image. Yes. And that's on corporate loyalty, customer loyalty, and positive relationships contribute to the increased sales, repeat business, and overall financial success. In your business, how many people come back? How many people, like myself, there are brands that I just patronize. You can't get another brand for me. There's a company I worked for. When I worked for instance, Amasco Oil. When I worked for Amasco Oil, I was using Amasco Oil before I worked for them. I never knew. I was using like, let's say 10 years, yeah? No, 8 years before I worked for. I started using Amasco Oil 8 years before I worked for them. Without knowing where the company was located, I just used the oil, and my mechanic said, this is a very good oil for your generator. I was using it consistently. In fact, if you get another oil, I don't mind sending it back to get what I want. So even as their price went up, I was still buying it. So I was always coming back. So in your organization, do you have customers that regardless, they will always come back for you, for your products or for your services? Suppliers and partnership relationship. Do you build a strong, reliable partnership, contribute to smoother operations and timely delivery? Timely delivery, right? Timely delivery. We also have market competitiveness. Market competitiveness. There is also a synergy and a connection between corporate image on productivity and market competitiveness. When you're, like I always say, when you're competing, when you are not in competition with you're not just in competition with your competitors for what you sell to gain market share. You're also in competitors to gain employees. For instance, marketing employees. When you lose your marketing employees, you are most likely to lose part of your market shares, right? So if you're a leader in the market, maybe you're a market leader, or you're an innovator, or you're a reactor, all this we tell through the kind of corporate image you build vis-a-vis the impact on the productivity of your staff, and also in factor the kind of growth that you get in marketing, in revenue. Next is investors' confidence. Are there some organizations that typically when you would not like to invest your money in, or when you invest, you'll be scared? Yeah, they are. But there's some kind of organizations that when you invest your money, you are right, you're comfortable, you are asleep. Why? Because the kind of corporate image they've built vis-a-vis on productivity. So investors trust can lead to better access to capital, enabling the company to invest in research, development, and other productivity enhancing initiatives. Organizational culture. Being a specialist in OD, which is organizational development, in HR, I have a very strong bias towards organizational culture. For me, it is the bedrock in HR. I call it the bedrock of every other branch of HR, whether recruitment. If you want to argue, and you have to get people in before you have culture. If you have a very bad culture, people will never want to even come in the first place. If you have a very bad culture, people want to always leave your company. If you have a bad culture, productivity will fall. So culture is very important. It allays fear, foster teamwork, bring innovation and productivity, increase creativity, talk about employee well-being. Because people look at, did I mention money here? No, I didn't mention money, because most employees want to stay where they feel safe and not threatened with their job, than where they'll be like every day, you're fired, I'll fire you. Most employees begin to get threatened about that. So they rather want to get their peace of mind where nobody will threaten them while they do their work at a cost-effective salary. Crisis resilience. Company with a positive corporate image often recover more effectively from crisis. Quick recovery and minimal disruption during crisis contribute to ongoing productivity and operational stability. So it's a reputation that you have to build consciously, even in our personal lives, even though I'm talking about personal branding. But I'm first telling you that you have to learn to manage crisis. And that was last year. I had this personal crisis I had that was almost affecting my um that would have affected people's perception about me. And I had to fight it with tooth and nail to make sure that it's I create a positive impression. So I came out of that crisis without even some people knowing about it. That is how it ought to be. But for adventure, somehow it has leaked. How do your company move around? I gave you an example of a particular bank that talk about just like I did bridge, just Christ rules, or and the other one that sent a message about prayer time, Muslims using the company time for prayer time. You were able to come out of that crisis without anybody hearing about it, right? So, and now the last on this is customer and employee advocacy. Satisfied customer and satisfied employee becomes advocates of the company. Are you advocates of your company? That tells me the kind of corporate image and productivity that you have. Positive word of mouth and advocacy contribute to the brand loyalty and customer retention and employee morale of all of which positive impacts productivity. I'll give you an example. Recently, a CV came to my table about a guy. I was like, this guy, I know him. We work together in so place in Kogi. The guy is very good in what he does. He's an HSC guy. The guy is very good. I was already blowing his trumpet. And maybe I've not seen the CV, but I know he's good. I was like, the guy is very smart, very intelligent. He knows how to do this, how to do that. So the HSC manager just opened the CV. I was like, oh, no. I believe that. Look at what he wrote here. Look at what he had. Look at what. Imagine, put this in the context of company. Can I just mention Pomisido? They have a very good product. They have very good employee experience. If you buy their product, you'll be satisfied. Or LG, LG is good. In fact, if you buy a wrong TV and it's not good, they're going to change it for you within 3 working days. That. Or so banks. I received debit alert. Oh, they're going to reverse it back on their own. Or when I go and complain within 7 working days, but some banks will take 3 months. There's a particular bank till today. I've not gotten my flight tickets. I use it booking an airpiece. I went to this bank, they tossed into this other bank. I went to this bank, they tossed into this other bank. Till today, I've not gotten it. So the image of that bank is that money, my 61,000 that they've not paid. That's my image of that bank. And I was also with some employees about that bank. They were just complaining about the bank. I said, well, I'm not surprised because they're holding my 61,000 since over 6 months now. So corporate image fosters productivity, and productivity in the context of bringing loyalty, customer retention, employee loyalty, and so on and so forth. Before we round up, let's look at corporate image audits. Corporate image audit is a systematic evaluation of how a company is perceived by its stakeholders, including customers, employees, and investors, as well as the public. So what you got was not different from people's review about the organization. It wasn't different, right? So go to all this place and look at what are people's review about your organization. it's very helpful. It's very helpful, very helpful. What are people's review about your organization? Okay, so it involves assessing the brand messaging, visibility, communication, right? Through feedback, survey, and so on and so forth. There are also other ways that we call it spot check. On the organization I worked for, we just bumped into one of our branch. Of course, if someone like the MD, you hardly know who the general manager, group manager director is. So we went to a particular branch. We disguised. We got to. In fact, we didn't even tell the branch head we are coming. The state coordinator we are coming. So we just took public vehicle, landed at the company gate, and we're like, we're looking for a job. We want to. So the person that was attending to say, we should go and meet the gate man, directed us to the receptionist. Got the receptionist. She wasn't sure. The face of the GMD was looking familiar, but she wasn't sure. So, no, I've seen it is a popular face, but I wasn't sure. But either way, she just like, this company, they have Wahala, but the truth is that this is a very good place to work, that there's no perfect company. The way she spoke about it, we are very proud of her. And that told us, what the kind of experience. And we did that randomly across various branches. Some people, different people entirely were doing in different branch. Some other time we do spot check to see how your customers are attended to by your receptionist. That's also another thing. I see that a lot. I watch that a lot where bosses go undercover to see how people behave in their absence, right? So this is also a way to go. This is also a way to go. Then we have practical step to corporate audits. Define your audit objective. What do you want to achieve? What do you want to achieve? Define it, what you want to achieve, right? Because that is the only way you can know that is you can measure the success, what you want to achieve by this audit you want to perform. They identify the key stakeholders that will be involved in this audit. Which would you want to audit? Is it the customers? Is it the public? Is it the suppliers? Is it the employees? Then you select evaluation method, develop questionnaires and interview questions, implement how you're going to collect data. The next stage will be after you collect the data. What do you do with the data? You analyze your data. You analyze your data, put it in charts, put it in using various parameters, whether based on gender, based on age, based on perception, based on location, social status, income, and so on and so forth. You can use all this to evaluate. Then you look at assess the consistency and effectiveness of your brand identity, logo, value and elements, spoken words, used words, gestures, and so on and so forth. Review communication strategies and examine your customers' feedback. These are some of the ways. Also assess employee engagement, how effective employee engagement have been. Assess it. You consider also industry benchmark on that work. Then you interpret your findings. Here you can see that we narrowed it down to using identity, strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats, which is SWOT. SWOT is a very common way of measuring internal dynamics. So these are some of free questions audits that we've developed, free question audits that we have developed as a company. So feel free to use this. Feel free to use this, in your company. This is just a template. It's not absolute. It's not absolute. It's not absolute. Potential respondent to corporate audit will have customers, suppliers, general public, employees, partners, industry peers and competitors, investors, prospective customers.